Hi, I'm Doodle my dad, and I've done a Bluey sketch, which is our favourite cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's been for quite some time. I came in on the girls one day laughing their absolute heads off at Bluey. I'd never seen it before. I was like, what are you watching? Why are you laughing so loud? And it was probably at their dad, Bandit, who's crackers, isn't he? He's brilliant. But he's a brilliant dad, and he's got 2 little kids, just like me. And it's just a brilliant cartoon, all the way from Australia, about a little blue heeler puppy and his, is it his little sister?
Yeah,
Bingo?
his little sister's called Bingo.
And his mum and dad, who are this little family of dogs, and all their little adventures in the house and outside. And obviously with the coronavirus at the moment, we've watched quite a lot more of it than we normally would, and I'm enjoying sitting down watching our little special cartoon together. So I thought I'd draw Bluey for you all, and welcome to my Bluey sketch. Hope you enjoy it. Come back soon for more Doodle Mad Dad. Bye-bye.
Bye!
So we're going to start with sketching. I'm using a Derwent HB just to draw Bluey. His body is like an oblong shape, really, a rectangle with sort of rounded sort of corners, really. Just round them off. You can see that there. I've done him at a bit of a jaunty angle because he's going to be jumping his Bluey today. He's got triangular ears that go up and down, meet in the middle, the straight side to them, and his nose comes from the middle out at an angle and then curves around underneath for his mouth like this. A little line there for the edge of his mouth, and his teeth are like little curved edges and a little oval tongue. His nose comes down like that, a little curve. There's a little reflection in his nose as well at the top with an oval. Colour that in later. His eyes aren't quite round, like a bit of an egg shape really. Quite a big pupil in the middle. We'll just show his other eye just tucked behind his nose there, and his pupil tucked behind. His eyebrows are like a bit like jelly beans, really, sort of jelly bean shapes. Instead of square or oblong, they're sort of curved shapes. And then this is the insides of his ears, thicker one side, thinner the other. So another triangle inside the other triangle. Straight away we can see him coming to life, can't we? We can see his face. And there's his semicircle tummy, and he's got sort of squarish oval spots on his side, and this is to show these lines that arc across his eyes as to show the different colours in his fur, which is what the blue heeler type dog, which is famous in Australia, has. It has all different markings everywhere. These are his legs sticking out, like standard wide legs. And I'm going to do him with rounded bottoms of his feet, because I'm going to show the bottoms of his feet really, and then circle them off like that with a curved line, and then his toe lines cut through both his foot and the bottom of his feet. This is his one arm that's sort of sticking out of his side, tucked behind. He's got 4 cute little rounded fingers, a little arc for his thumb, little thumb line is. Then this arm's going to stick out the side but overlap his body, so it's sort of nearer to what we're looking at. The same with that hand curved around, with a little curve for his thumb curve, and then a curve there to show the different markings of his fur. And his tail has got 4 curved bumps in the end of it. And again, the tail tip is going to be a different colour, so we'll show a line there to show the separation in colour. And his nose is a different colour to the rest of his body, isn't it? With a sort of separation line. Use my Mono Zero eraser to get rid of any lines that we don't want now, so where his arm overlaps, like I said. Any little mistakes you make, like I do every single time. Inside his eyebrows, and any lines that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't overlap, like inside his nose from earlier, where we made his nose overlap his body, just to simply show you really a bit better. And as always, my faithful uni pins are 0.5, just for not many black bits on Bluey really, because you'll find out when you see the artwork of Bluey, they don't use black that much. They sort of use different colours for different edges, but his eyes definitely, and make them pop and stand out. inside of his mouth, like most characters. Nice black mouth. Show the shadows and the deepness there. And some of the outlines. So where his fur is the darkest, so it's like a slate blue, we are going to do a bit of a black outline. So that's the bit on that side of his body, and his ears. They're going to be slate blue behind that black outline. So that's why I'm doing that there. And Winsor and Newtown Pro-Markers are my absolute favourite for colouring in. I got a box of 48 for my 42nd birthday the other day. I'm a lucky boy. Look at all those colours. 48 amazing spectrum of colours, which I'm going to use, which were bought from Cult Pens, which are an online company. They deliver international, and they're an absolutely amazing stationery company. So Cult Pens, get on board, get ordering. So these are inside of his ears, and it's going to be part of his nose as well. This is the sandy brown, which a lot of blue heeler dogs have, and they have them all over in different patterns, and this is Bluey, so he has definitely on his nose and his ears. His dad has it on his tummy as well, doesn't he? And I think his mummy and sister have it on as well, but a lot more of that, because he's mainly blue. And here is my light blue. It's one of the lightest blues I'm using. So his eyebrows, the thick stripes separating the darker blue and the sandy colour that I mentioned. And you see what I said about the cuffs on his hands and his legs. Well, his feet and his hands are going to be this same blue as well. So I've sped this up a bit. Otherwise you'd be here ages watching me colour them in. And there we go. And I'm going to use a light grain a little bit to outline all these instead of black like I mentioned. So they stand away from the whiteness of the picture. And that's how the original artist drew them anyway. Not a lot of you probably know this, but Bluey started off as a children's book. Now, I've never heard of Bluey at all till my children were watching the cartoon. But it might be worth getting some books and have a little read and a laugh at them and see where it originated, this amazing character. Who they picked to do the voices of Bluey and his brother Bingo, I don't know, but they are the cutest sounding little kids who do the voices. They really, really make me laugh. Now, I made a bit of a mistake here with Bluey colouring in. I've done all his legs the same colour. Don't ask me why. Sometimes I'm just not thinking, but I'm going to rectify that in a little bit. This is why I do light colours first, because it's easier to correct your mistakes by going over those with darker colours if you need to overlap. So watch now. That's it. So the tops of his legs are a darker blue. And you wouldn't know, would you, unless I told you. So once you go over it, if you're using decent markers that don't bleed and let you do things like this, then you'll be fine. You won't have any mishaps with your paper or it going through your paper because there's too much wetness. And also in between his eyes is the same blue. And, yeah, main part of his body. So the light blue of his hands and legs meets the darker blue of his main body and arms and tops of his legs. And also the main part of his tail. The tip of his tail is going to be a different colour in a little bit. Go around those sort of squarish oval bumps on his side. And obviously if you look at Bluey from different angles, you'll see different parts of his fur that have different shapes. And I could have done him standing still, but I thought I'd show him a little bit more animated, to be honest. This is the pose he's in at the end of the intro when he does his little twirl and dance and jumps in the air, and I think it's his most famous pose of Bluey's. My favourite episode has got to be Chicken Rat. I love Chicken Rat. Their dad, Bandit, can do absolutely anything. He does impressions of all sorts of things like robots, Chicken Rat, when his hand is an emu. One of my favourite episodes. But it's just brilliant. And the guy that does his voice is... it just makes me laugh. I'd love to know what else he does, what other work he's done, and I bet he makes me laugh in that. And the bottoms of his feet are different blue, like a mid-blue. So like the shadow of underneath his feet. And this is like a slate blue. It's in between sort of slate and navy. Kind of matching what the artist uses to draw Bluey. And there we go. It's quite risky doing this without fine liners to act as a border to stop bleeding of colours, but these markers, if you're very careful and got a steady hand, they are brilliant for going right near another colour and not having any mishaps where ink bleeds into one another, like you would with some pens. So this is, I always use the fine tip of the end of these pens. If you look at the back of my pen there, that's the chisel tip end. Now you could use that for sort of writing or larger subjects, italic writing, graffiti writing, manga type stuff. Now see, I've done the end of his tail and his spot in that slate, and now this is a manuscript light grey. So a manuscript pen company make these pens. I was bought a selection of these by a friend of ours of the family, and this grey is just about right for all the grey outlines, his tone, see the toe gaps, the lines that I did earlier, the outline of all the blues instead of the blacks. And all I need to do now, I don't know why I didn't colour this in earlier, is his nose. So when I did his eyes and his mouth, maybe I should have done his nose at the same time. So there's his nose, coloured in with the grey highlighting the tip of his nose. Done. And some other bits that you might have missed go over there, just make the mouth stand out a bit better. I've done the edge of his teeth where the bumps are with that grey as well, and also the tongue. And there's the tongue finished in. There's Bluey. Thank you for listening to Doodle Mad Dad. It has been an absolute pleasure doing Bluey for you.